mainstream schools, they're not all the same. Some are really good, they're really inclusive, and they'll
Okay.
make reasonable adjustments, while some are just not interested at all. So you've got a lot of young people that have got thousands and thousands of pounds attached to them because they've got the EACP.
Okay.
So wherever they go, they've got the money going with them. But if there's no space at the school they should be going to, and they go to a mainstream school that isn't inclusive, even though the school's getting the money, and I know because I'm the one that allocates the money,
Yes. You are not getting the support.
this is it. So
I understand.
that's the thing that's difficult, because you can account for the money, but it's not always clear that the school are following everything they need to follow to support that young person as well. Another thing that's a challenge as well is the training.
Okay.
So most of the teachers that go to mainstream schools, that work in mainstream schools, they haven't got SEN experience.
Sure.
So you're gonna have the average teacher, especially in secondary school. Let's say you're a science teacher.
Okay.
You've only learned your science degree,
Sure.
your science teaching degree. You worked in the mainstream schools as part of your training. Maybe you've done a few weeks in a special class with some kids. You now have a class, you now walk into a secondary school, you've got 10 groups of kids that you teach, 30 kids in each lesson.
Okay.
Out of the 30 kids, maybe 5 of them have additional needs. But the whole time you've done that training, up until you inherit that class,
You did no training
did
in
no training in
relation to
special
SEN.
educational needs.
Yes.
That's the issue.
Yes.
And it puts a lot of pressure on the teachers. They're not always confident that they're going to manage these young people as well.
Sure.
But they have to find a way, because the school has to be inclusive. So the school might come to me and be like, we need more funding to support this young person. That's why, okay, let me review what you've done. Let me see the impact
The
of what you've
progress,
done.
yes.
And then we'll make an informed decision. So I can allocate you more money, in a lot of circumstances I've seen it actually works and it makes a difference.
Okay.
The school comes back and they're like, you know what? They were slowing down progress, but now they've actually started to make progress, and they're integrated fully into lessons, and they're making progress. But then there's other instances where I've allocated more funding and it hasn't changed anything. But that's because sometimes it's the relationship between the school and the parents. So some schools, if the smallest thing that happens, they'll be calling parents to come and pick up the child. And then the parent will call me and be like, I want to remove my child from the school. But I have to tell the parent that there's no real space anywhere else. So if you want to take him out or her out, you need to understand that this school, we need to give them time to use the money to get a positive result. Okay. But then sometimes the school is giving mixed messages, because they'll be coming to me saying, we want more money to support. We give more money to support. Then they'll go to the parents and be like, maybe you should start looking at another school.
That's a whole confusion.
This is so going back to your original point about the money. Yeah, our system is better in terms of the structure, but there is intricacies within that, and also different councils work in different ways, different schools work in different ways. But for the most part, I'm not going to say there's unlimited money, because there isn't, but there's a framework, and there's funding, and there's a legal obligation and standing point for everybody. Everyone has a reference point.
Okay.
So there's no excuse.
Yes.
So at the very least,
this part is not working, the legality is going to work. The managerial aspect is going to work. The clinical aspect is also going to work. Yes. But I think you saying that actually draws my mind to this point of why we have most parents, especially most parents of Ghanaian descent in the diaspora, bringing their children down here to Ghana to school them. I mean, parents with children with special needs, most of them, they bring them down here to find education for them. I used to question myself, like, the system out there is way better. Why are you bringing them here? But your point really explains that there's that conjunction. Even though the funding is there, but where to fix the child becomes a problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So since lockdown, since COVID, there's been a rise of needs.
Okay.
Within the UK, just in general. So there's a lot of services there to support the young people. But when it comes to schooling, so I've actually got a friend, her son has autism. She wants to send her child here.
Okay.
But that's because all the special schools near where she lives, they're all full.
Whoa.
They're all full. And her son is pre-verbal.
Okay.
He's got autism. He's nowhere near at the level academically or even socially with his peers in a mainstream school. So he goes to a mainstream school, he wears a uniform, he's with the other children, but he's in class maybe for like a few minutes, then they have to take him
Pull
out.
him out, yeah.
It's like, so it's inclusion, but how included is he?
That's not inclusion. Sorry, that's not inclusion.
So it's almost like they're like ticking a box.
Sorry,
it's almost like they're ticking a box. They can, and the school actually told her that he's fine, but they're saying he's fine, but he hasn't got behavior. He's not lashing out. He's not troubling anybody. He just comes in, pretty much what they ask him to do, he'll do it. But in terms of
academic progress,
he can't do it. He can't do it, and that's fine to an extent. But he needs to be in a different school that's going to be able to accommodate that. So it's interesting because she actually wants to send her son out here, despite the fact that the UK has got all of these resources, money, all of these things, but because there's no space, it's difficult.
I think the issue of professional training also cut across when it comes to Ghana and the UK, because myself, I graduated from Winnipeg. I was a trained teacher, but I was only, let's say for lack of a better word, exposed to the surfaces of special needs. Like we did like a course in one of the courses that we did. So I was just exposed to it, like just the surface of the back, as in how to actually deal with learners or help or support learners that have special needs. I was not trained in it. But I think one of the reasons why I am being able to do this in this field is because I have always had a passion for the marginalized. Like I don't like to see people being segregated, the inequalities. No, I wish you have a perfect space where everyone is thriving. Being in a position where I'm seeing kids being segregated and learning about it and understanding that no, these people, they don't deserve this. I stood up for it even before I went into SEN. So myself, when I went to my current job, when I started working there, when I went for the interview, they checked everything I had done. They looked at my videos on YouTube because I had already created videos about special needs children, even though I was not into the field working. So they checked everything and they were ready to give me the job. But they asked if I have ever worked with any child. I'm like, no, I've never done it. But I just want to see them get better. So I think that is also something that cuts across Ghana and the UK, because most people are actually trained as teachers, but they are not trained to handle special needs children. So if you put them in special needs schools or if you put them in inclusive schools, they might be able to teach special needs children just like they are teaching everyone. They will not be able to go the extra mile of lending that extra support, that extra time. They don't know much about it. And I was like, I'm saying, like I was like that until I just recently graduated from the University of Cape Coast in special education masters. So
congratulations.
Now, thanks. I'm just following your footsteps. So I think now, looking at myself now and years back, I can say I can say 100% equipped, because it's still a learning process, but I am way more equipped as a teacher, as a special educator now than I used to be back then.
Of course.
Yes, now if I enter a classroom and a child is struggling to read, I know that the child is not lazy.
Yes.
The child is having dyslexia. I grew up in a community where my teacher used to constantly beat me because I can't do math calculations. I'm still yet to get, diagnosed for what dyscalculia or something, but I know definitely I had dyscalculia when I was a kid, because I could do all the readings and do everything perfectly except maths.
I actually struggle with maths a lot as well.
I had to look, and they were beating me like they thought I was just lazy.
But it's that even that mindset's crazy. If you're beating somebody, how is that going to motivate them to?
So the unfortunate thing about mine was that you beating me for not doing maths, psychologically I created an associative link between pain and maths. So I never wanted to see maths.
It
triggers me. There were days that we had maths. I wish there could be some rainstorms, some hurricane, so that the entire class would be cancelled. I remember in uni when we had numeracy, I struggled a lot. I wish I could escape all the classes, but during the exam, I think that was the only course I had D. And even when I had D, I was thankful to God I couldn't get risk. Okay, so lack of trained teachers in these fields is doing a whole lot of detrimental effects to a lot of kids, because if the teacher is formally trained to be a teacher and not to handle any special needs kids, they go about teaching everyone like everyone, but everyone learns different.
Yeah, you can't. It's not one size fits all. So
Exactly.
It's interesting. You said a pathway. So if you want to be a doctor, you have to do medicine. If you want to be a lawyer, you have to do law. If you want to be a pilot, you need to do aeronautical engineering or whatever. So there's a clear pathway. If you want to do something in special needs, it's not a clear pathway. So even me doing my masters, it's a blessing because I learned a lot and I met amazing people on my course, but I've worked myself up to a certain level, but there's people on my level even above me, they haven't got a master's.
Exactly.
So it's not always clear that the people that have to make the big decisions have substantive and informed practices in special education. Yes. So in local government or in councils, you got a lot of the ones that sit at the top. Maybe they're the director of children's services. If you speak to them and you ask their experience, they'll be like, oh, I was a health commissioner for 15 years. Oh, I was a head teacher for 10 years. But it's like, they haven't got, I've yet to meet one, and this is a knock at them because they're still good at what they do to an extent, but I'm yet to meet somebody that sits at the top with a high amount of special educational needs experience.
Yes, someone that has actually been on the ground.
They've never worked in a class. They've never sit with a kid that self-harms or runs out the class or struggles to read and write.
Unfortunately, they have to make all the policies that binds the people that are working. And off air, we were even discussing it, like, why is it that when it comes to maybe football, it's given to football people?
Yes.
People that have knowledge in it, people that have been on the field.
Yes.
When it comes to giving political what do we call assignment, we choose people that have actually been in the field.
Yes.
When it comes to healthcare, we choose doctors. I am of the view that if we have to choose anybody to supervise or be head of any special needs education or special school, the person must provide a background of yes, you must actually either be neurodivergent or have been on the field as a tutor, like as a special needs education tutor, had a one-on-one encounter. Because most of these things, Nana, it's unfortunate that it's on paper. They can just read to you on paper, but practically, if you bring them to come do the work, they can't do it.
They can't do it, yeah.
And they would have to make all the decisions that binds us that are on the field. Unfortunately. But you are sitting in the comfort of your office making decisions for a special needs education teacher who gets into the classroom, has to do the UDL, has to do all of these things that is actually draining on their mindset. So I think we have to also get to the point where getting people to head these departments, we have to look at people that has actually be on the field.
I 100% agree.
Yes.
100%.
We can make a headway if we find people who have actually been on the field heading these, because they would understand it. Like yourself, you have been on the ground, you've done the work.
Exactly.
You've done the work as a special needs teacher in the classroom, handled kids like one-on-one, and you also go into the managerial aspect. So blending these two, you can execute your work better than someone who just been reading everything on the internet or being in the classroom reading everything, not being on the field itself. Now comes to make decisions for you, the special needs teacher.
It's I've never heard anybody break it down like that, but it's so true, because you've got some categories, like you said, sports.
Yes.
They've got people that have got sports experience. It's like, it's silly. It's like, imagine you've got a basketball team and you want someone to coach the team that has got no experience in coaching basketball. Maybe they coach cricket or something else. That is not going to help them.
It's not going to help.
You need someone that specializes in that sport and that can take them from A to B.
Yes. And I think that also comes back to the point of empathy. Because if I haven't walked in your shoes before, I can't have empathy for you.
No.
If I haven't been in the position that you are now,